Well, happy Sunday. It's time for the weekend video. Get ready. Okay, this is going to be kind of just a think out loud video about a quote. Now, the quote is something I read on Facebook, of course, because that's where we get a lot of discussions going on about the gospel. And the quote, it says that religion says, I obey, therefore I am accepted. Christianity says, I'm accepted, therefore I obey. Timothy Keller. Timothy Keller is a pastor and well-known author. He's a pastor of a church, I believe it's called Redemption Presbyterian. Good name, not a good quote. Here's my issue with this. If you don't already have an issue with it, my issue is Christianity says I'm accepted, therefore I obey. In a way, that's true, because a lot of people in Christianity now like talking about grace, but they mix it with law. Once you mix grace with law, you no longer have grace. And that's where this is coming in. I'm accepted, grace and favor. I'm accepted, we all are accepted, grace and favor. Therefore I obey. Just mixed it with law. Because what are you obeying? You're going to obey something you feel the Bible commands you to do, or you're going to try to obey. And then you're going to find out that doesn't work so well. And so this is an attempt to make the Christian message of obedience a little more easy to swallow, I guess. But it still goes down and gives you heartburn every time. At least it does me. Here's why. The problem here is I'm accepted, therefore I obey. So you know you're accepted, but now it's not regardless or unconditional, because if you have to obey, just saying you obey, you're not being honest with yourself. But if you feel you need to obey because you are accepted, then that gets really iffy on what kind of acceptance this is, because what if you feel obligated to obey because you're accepted, and then you find yourself unable to obey whatever it is you think you need to obey? Then that acceptance is not quite assured in the mind of anybody who actually believes this. There's no 100% assurance of acceptance once you mix it with an obligation of obedience. And so I know a lot of people who might not like hearing me say what I say right now. They think, well, you can't just do anything you want. Well, technically you can do anything you want. But the moment you impose an obedience requirement on somebody, you're actually inflicting the power of the law, and it's the power of, that's why the law was the power of sin. So it's a defeating attitude. Just because I know I can do anything I want doesn't mean I'm going out to murder anybody, nor do I condone murdering anybody or any other horrible thing that you just shouldn't do to another person. And besides, the foolish notion that religious people have, that if there aren't commandments to obey, then the whole world is going to there will be no order. Well, you know what? There's a lot of atheists in the world, and there's still, good people. A lot of them, atheists I know, don't even cuss. They don't kill people. They're not out raping people. They're honest people, and but they don't feel obligated to live according to biblical commandments, and yet they're good people. And so that whole notion that if you don't have commandments that you're required to obey or obligated to obey, then you're going to somehow be a bad person. It just doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. So this is actually an oxymoronic statement to say, I'm accepted, therefore I obey, and somehow imply that that's grace. There's no grace in that. It's revolutionary, I know. Have a revolutionary week.